It's true. It's true. If you change your brain, you can change your life. FlowChat fam, hey, welcome back to the Spotlight series. We're focused on mental health today. Change your brain, change your life. The thoughts that we think, the quality thoughts that we have right here, right now, in this moment, you spending this time with us, watching this, is going to affect what happens today, what happens next week, next month, and the next year, decade to come. It changes the very trajectory of our life. But the thing is, I'm not a doctor when it comes to mental health, but we're joined by a fellow FlowChat fam member who is. So Dr. Christine Sauer, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. Just call me Christine. I'm just a normal person, although I do have a doctorate.
Yes, well, we'll go with Christine for today, but just so everyone can get to know you a little bit, those letters before your name, doctor, how did you become a doctor and why?
I was born and raised in Germany, and I became a physician in Germany, and a physician and a naturopath, which is not unusual there. And to be able in Germany to have the doctor title in front of your name, you actually have to write a dissertation. Now, here in the North American room, it probably would be a PhD because there's no medical doctorate. They just get MD thrown after them with their Finnish medical school, which in Germany is not the case. So I did a real dissertation. And then I started practicing with my ex-husband in his family practice. And I opened my own dermatology and allergology practice and had a lot of fun until my back gave out. I had to give up my practice and my ex decided to commit
Gosh.
suicide. And from there, it went downhill. I myself became extremely depressed. I had two teenage boys.
Wow.
And we had immigration papers to Canada. Now, that was 1996. So we came to Canada in Halifax, Eastern Canada, Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. We picked that because I always wanted to be at the ocean. So the kids went to school here, and I hung up on home. Didn't know nobody, so I tried to commit suicide myself. That absolutely was the lowest part of my life. And it took me about 6 to 8 years to start realizing that this was not the life I wanted to live, and that psychotherapy and medications that helped me to dull the pain would not give me, on the long run, the life that I wanted to have.
Got
So
it.
then I started my research because I always have been a researcher. And that's when I developed what I now use, my brain health system. I actually did it for myself first. I started on supplements. I changed my nutrition. I started moderate exercise. I'm not an exerciser, and my back was still bad, but it got better. And I did the thought things, of course, and rediscovered my purpose which always was to help people. So that's in a very short nutshell what I did.
Yeah, there's a lot of life in there.
There's a lot of
There's a
life
lot
in
of
there. And then eventually I decided to start a business to be able to help more people. And as you know, most coaching businesses struggle because it's hard to get clients. That's the number one problem of any coach. So I did. And I tried everything, local, social media, all that stuff that every coach does. I had business coaches, ended up getting me bankrupt because I invested in business coaches. They promised me the blue from the sky, and it didn't work. So what did work was, of course, that's why I'm here. FlowChat. I invested in that. And interestingly, it started to work. At first, I was skeptical. I thought, hey, looks nice, but does it work? And then you made me a nice sequence, and I adapted it. And now it's easy to book appointments and to have real conversations with my clients that mostly come from Facebook, and also have meaningful conversations in Messenger. People share all kinds of stuff about themselves on Facebook that they shouldn't, but they do. And so you can really talk about them. And then I get them on an appointment, which is really a flowing conversation. And through the CRM, you never lose track of them because you get reminded, hey, you haven't looked at this lead for a long time. Yes, I get the messages if somebody answers, but if not, and as you know, the leads is in a follow-up because most people that are depressed have issues with taking action. So I think it takes actually to get somebody that is depressed to decide, make a decision, which is extremely hard when you're really depressed, to make the decision to trust a relative stranger to get on the phone with them. That's not that easy.
This is very true. And you know that personally. So I appreciate you being open and vulnerable and honest with your story, your journey. And there's so much life and heaviness there. You're someone that has personally wrestled with depression to a very high level for a long period of time, and I would say it's very safe to say at this point that you're someone that's overcome that and worked through that. I think we all probably wrestle with that to some level, but it's not even comparable to, the level you're dealing with it maybe now than you
I
were
always
in the
say,
past.
sorry to interrupt you, but I always say everybody has a bad day, and that's normal. And we all struggle with life at some certain times. But when
Hmm.
you're really depressed for weeks on end, and especially if you're thinking about hurting yourself or others, it's time to go for help. There's much help out there.
Hmm.
And the same, if you want to contact me, I'm always there to book an appointment, not right then and there, but because I have to think about myself too. But it is very, very rewarding and important, as you said.
Yeah, and everyone listening, watching, this might be a timely video for you where you're at in your journey in your life. Christine is a great resource. Part of the mission of Spotlight is to find real people solving real problems, on the front lines in the marketplace. And so Christine is definitely one of those people that has personally lived it and has a really powerful and victorious story. And so I know your story is not done. You're still writing it, but more good to come. So there's this phrase with your background moving forward. I'd like to focus on some of the tips, the tools, the habits, the practices that really helped you overcome. You started to mention some of them: supplements, eating, moderate exercise. But there's this phrase: change your brain, change your life. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, Change Your Brain, Change Your Life is a famous book by my teacher and mentor, Dr. Daniel Amen. And I'm very fortunate to be part of his teaching team, so I can actually teach his courses. And I also am a licensed neuroencoding specialist and on the teaching team with Dr. Joseph McClendon III, who is a psychologist, neuropsychologist. So I know a thing about too how to change your brain in the physical realm, the spiritual realm, the social realm, the psychological realm, and the financial realm, which is important too, because I added that. Dr. Amen just puts it under stressors in the social realm. But I think if we don't have a financial basis, we can't be mentally healthy. If
Tell us more about that. What do you mean by that?
I think if you have to struggle with the thought, do I lose my home tomorrow? Do I have a bite to eat tomorrow? How can you even think about what your purpose in life is? Because at that point, your purpose is to stay safe, stay warm, and stay out of hungry. That's a
Yeah.
survival mode. And if you're in survival mode, you can't be mentally healthy. And a certain buffer of money, you don't have to be rich, but it gives you some financial security that allows you to think, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it allows you to focus on the higher needs. Start with nutrition, start with supplements. You need a little bit of money to do all that. And I don't want to be rich with
Sure.
my business. Some other people want to be rich, fine.
Mm,
I wouldn't even know what to do with all those riches besides giving it to others that need it more or
sure.
having some more time to treat people for free.
Mm, mm, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's powerful. I like that you added that category. So, you mentioned different categories. Social was another category. Can you tell us more about that category?
Social category is so important. We all, as humans, are social beings and we have relationships. And we have the first and foremost relationship we have, of course, is with ourselves. And so many people don't realize that that is a real relationship that's often so toxic because many people have what's called negative self talk. And Dr. Amen calls it ants, the automatic negative thoughts. And that's so funny. I have a few videos in my Facebook group about that. The ants that infestate your brain. So you have to become an ant eater, an internal ant eater to get rid
I
of
like
those
it.
ants because you have
Yeah.
to have fun. The more depressed you are, the more you need a little bit of fun in your life to
How,
change it over time.
just out of curiosity, and I'll kind of open up, and something that I've noticed and kind of my habits, my thinking. Um, is the element of laughter. And so I've noticed, I'm not a big drinker. I don't, smoke or drink. I've never really gone down those roads. I've definitely like physical fitness is, I've been probably the least active ever of all time in my life over the last couple years. But mostly by choice, just focused on certain things, prioritizing. But laughter, some of my outlet would be like a sitcom or Impractical Jokers is something on YouTube that I like to watch. They just do the most ridiculous, absurd things. So I spend a lot of time laughing, and I find myself, I don't know if that's like a coping thing or if it's like it does help me kind of reset at different times. How does laughter play into that?
That's actually a really good question. Thank you for that, John. Because it's really true that laughter changes your brain. It
Mm,
changes the neurotransmitters in your brain and makes you feel more relaxed and more happy. In this way, it's a little bit, you can compare it with a good orgasm. A good belly laugh is
maybe
similar.
that's why I like laughter so much. I don't
Yeah, and that's why they say laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah,
And when you see kids, you just have to tickle them and they start laughing. And some adults that go through all their day with a surly face and have no fun in life. And that
yeah.
is very bad for the brain. And then you get Alzheimer's and die. And that's not a good life to have lived.
Mm,
And
it's
I
true.
personally love to laugh. And sometimes I watch a comedy on Netflix, or when I have some time, or my business partner, actually my friend, he does improv comedy.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes we have a webinar that he does with people on the call, and we do improv together and have
Oh,
real
wow.
fun with it.
That's cool.
Yeah, because you can really have fun when you are able to laugh not about others and not about yourselves, but with others.
Mm.
And I
Yeah,
mean, I
big
don't,
difference there.
I don't mind anymore if others laugh about me because, hey, I'm a public figure. When you look at my video faces, they are laughable. So have fun with it.
I like it. I like it. Well, these are some helpful best practices and tips. Hey, if others are looking to learn, more about mental health, changing their brains, overcoming depression, which is a very real thing. Mental health, especially over the last couple of years, has proven to be even more so a thing. It always has been, but just more so in these last couple of years. Where's the best place to find you?
Now, it's depends. One of my favorite answers. Yes, COVID has had a big influence on mental health. People are anxious.
Mm,
Some are
mhm.
anxious about the virus, some are anxious about the vaccine, and then comes the social isolation that's forced upon us. And you can be on either
Yeah,
side, it doesn't matter. But it is harmful for our mental health. And their suicide in kids increasing, that's a fact. And I'm concerned about that.
yeah.
Now, uh, and where can you find mental health resources? And sometimes it's a good place to start with your family doctor. Tell him
Hmm.
or her how you feel. And maybe do not accept an antidepressant as a first option unless you're really suicidal. And if you're suicidal, tell them. And if you need to, do like I did when I was nearly driving with my van against the pillar, the bridge pillar. I stopped myself and took myself to the
Mm,
emergency room. And I was
mm,
4 weeks inpatient in the mental hospital, which was no fun, but it helped me to stay safe for a little bit. And it helped me to overcome a period where the emotional pain would have killed me. Because I always say emotional pain is just as bad as physical pain or worse.
mm,
Because if somebody has a broken arm, everybody feels sorry for him. But if somebody has severe emotional pain, there's still a big stigma around that. And
true.
yes, the medication that we have for mental health, some of them are very efficient emotional painkiller, but sadly, they are also depressing your brain and your ability to think and plan ahead. And Dr.
Mm,
Peter Breggin, one of my favorite psychiatrists besides Dr. Amen, he calls it medication spellbinding because over time you get convinced that you need the medication for life. And that's what many doctors tell you, and it is not true.
Hmm. That's a big deal.
That is a big deal, depending on what you get and what brain type you are. Sometimes some people do need medication for life, especially people that are paranoid, schizophrenics, violent people, or something like that. And
Hmm.
those medication have been very beneficial to keep those out of the asylums where they were restrained years ago, which was a terrible situation for all involved. But
I can only
for
imagine.
minor mental illness, what they called years ago the dark night of the soul, it is an opportunity often to grow. And I
Hmm.
feel by too fast going to medication, that opportunity to grow as a person and change your habits and what you're doing every day, that opportunity to grow is taken from the person if you start them on medication too early. If there's other options, I feel those options, unless it's an emergency, should be explored first, especially in cases it's not so severe. I had a client lately. She went to her family doctor. She was still working full time, but she felt down in the dumps. And what did he give her? Two different medications, one of them an antipsychotic. She was never antipsychotic. Those have serious brain damaging effect on the long run. They are not for
Hmm.
people that are a little bit depressed.
So if you're hearing this and you have questions around this, you maybe have friends or family members that you just don't know. Christine is a great resource to just run these questions by, maybe these concerns by, and she can give you some helpful resources. She can
Because
give you,
I need to say
yeah,
one thing, and if
yeah,
you're taking medication, do not suddenly stop them. It backfires. There are serious withdrawal effects. It can be deadly. So please don't do that. Talk to your doctor first. I just want to say that.
yeah, yeah. Best practices is talk to your doctor first. I appreciate that, Christine. And just in case I missed it, if people are feeling this way, where and how is the best place to reach out to you?
To reach out to me, you can either Google me. My name, Dr. Christine Sauer, is now all over it. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on social media, of course, on Facebook. I also have a website. My website is docchristin.com, DOCCHRISTINE.com. And when you're on Facebook, hey, go on Facebook. I have a free brain health group which has a lot of resources, and every Saturday I'm there live and answer question. You have an opportunity to get coached for free if you're in that group, but your choice.
Hey, well, Dr. Christine, I appreciate you taking this time to share this potentially life-changing information, not only for yourself sharing your story, but also for everyone listening. So I know this is a a sensitive subject and a helpful and powerful subject too. There is hope for people out there. So thank you for spending that time, and thank you, FlowChat fam, and do not miss these spotlight episodes. We're finding real people that are getting real results that are affecting businesses that are being built, that are affecting communities, that are affecting marriages and families, and just growth. So thank you for spending your time with us, and we'll see you back on the next one.